Celestial Television Network.
Talk show. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our convention panelists, and they are Deborah Oshofa Ogunbiyi. She was born into the family of Reverend Pastor SBG Oshofa by her mother Elizabeth Oshofa in Port Novo, Republic of Benin. She was made President Women of Worth in 2007. She is the founder and president Tabitha Foundation, which caters for children and widows in the CCC. She is the president of OBAA Oshofa Heritage and deputy managing director of Mochland Global Resources Limited. She is married and blessed with 3 children. Joke Muiwa is a veteran stage and Nollywood actress. She's a lecturer of performing arts at the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwe. She won the 5th Best Nollywood Awards for the lead role in a movie titled Ayitale. She was conferred with the title of Yeyasha, Mother of Tradition, by the Ebumawe of Agoiwe in Ogun State. She is currently doing her PhD. Oluwaseyi Sholabade was born at Oluwaseyi Parish, Ijesha-Tedo. He grew up in the Celestial Vineyard being a shepherd's son, and his music grew as a choir boy. He composes strong lyrics and sings with strong vocal cords. He is a versatile multi-instrumentalist and music producer. His band Blackface released an album in 1999, No King is God in 2005, and Bandijo in 2012. Kayode Ajala is a 2018 appointed member, pastor in council. He was Nigeria's foremost and most celebrated romance journalist with an uncommon anointing for stories of heartbreak and heart mending. He was made editor of Hints magazine by Nigeria's current Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, the then publisher. Brothers and sisters, please welcome our 2019 convention panelists to the Celestial Celebrity Talk Show. They are all Celestians, and the host is the stage and Nollywood screen star actress, Tina Mba, a prophetess of the Celestial Church of Christ.
And the co-host is our Daddy Kunle Hamilton. Okay, sorry about that. We have Toksan as the co-host for this talk show. Please let us welcome them. Let us jam our hands together for them.
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. This is the talk show, and I'm going to ask distinguished guests questions as it comes, but it's not going to be okay. Let's go. I'm really honored to have all of you here. To my extreme right is Joke Muiwa. Deborah Oshofa, Kayode Ajala, and introduce yourself.
My name is Jay.
Yeah, who?
Shola Bade.
That's Shola Bade.
Eshe.
Okay, there are a few things we'd like to discuss and ask. We've been very curious, but I want to ask these questions. But if my first question will go to Kaede Ajala. Gotcha. As an MPIC. Yes. Actually, what is that?
MPIC. That's the abbreviation for Member Pastor in Council. Now, the Pastor in Council is the highest policy-making body of the Celestial Church of Christ worldwide. So anyone who has the privilege of being a member of that body can carry the acronym MPIC.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, I think that deserves a round of applause, really. Now, something got me really curious. At the time when everybody, well, I personally lost hope in the building, completion of the basilica. You actually, your write-ups, your documentation of events actually pulled me back. It made me interested. It made me go to Imeko. It made me watch progress. And I keep saying, in fact, I have it archived, the information you gave to the world, that you gave me. I said, any day I see you, I'm going to say thank you for that, because if it was done like that since, we wouldn't have a lot of the issues we have and arguments and disagreements. It was, and you said that this gold east, west, north to south, this is what you will find, because this is the absolute truth, including budget for nil, budget for these, everything was detailed. Please clap for him. I think Celestial Church suffers a lot because of lack of information. No, lack of archiving our information and lack of information dissemination. I think that's a problem. But I needed to say that to the world so they know you did a fabulous job. Now I'm going to ask you, how can we leverage on technology to propagate the celestial gospel or vision?
Well, before I answer that question directly, I need to say this, that the truth is that there is a wind of change blowing right across the Celestial Church of Christ. It's a very powerful wind, and if you have not felt it in one way or the other, you must have seen it. It is that wind of change that has made it possible for the Basilica at Imeko to be completed within 18 months. That is a project that has been stagnant for almost 3 decades. It is that wind of change that made it possible for a brother, like Prophet Hamilton said, to be made the chairman of the convocation committee. A convocation that ended up being the most successful so far in the history of the church. It is that wind of change that has also made it possible for that same brother to be made the chairman of the committee that will put together our annual pilgrimage to Agoge from this year. It is that wind of change that has made it possible for the pastor in council, of which I am a member, to be dissolved. I'm a living testimony or beneficiary of that wind of change, because I never thought I could find myself in the pastor in council. But we're there. The old one was dissolved, a new one was put in place, and I can tell you confidently that all the members in that council were put there on merit. There was no, it wasn't done as a favor to anybody. So there's a wind of change blowing through the church. You have asked the question concerning technology and all that, and how we can put it to good use. What we're doing here today has already answered that question. We're being streamed live now as I speak with you. And if you were at the convocation at Imeko in December, you'll see that we made very good use of what you are talking about. There is a committee. The pastor in council has 13 working committees. One of such committees is the Committee on Publicity, Press and Publications. And in our term of reference, our terms of reference includes what you're talking about. We must leverage on technology to project the image of the church, to project the activities of the church. It's already in progress, and it's a work in progress. We might not be moving as fast as we should, but definitely I can assure you that we are moving, and eventually we will be where we are supposed to be.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask Auntie Joke. My question will be, you know what? There's no point looking at any book for you. Get the paper. A very powerful theater practitioner, a teacher. How do you think we as professionals can become useful to these children, to the youth of Celestial Church?
Number one, apart from being elders of the church, as a human being who has reached this level of maturity spiritually, physically, financially, you have a job, and that is to impact into the lives of the youth. Being an elderly person, being a member of Celestial Church, being an alagba, you are the Bible that these youths read. So in everything you do, you must try in all ramifications to be an example, to be a light for the youth. By your way of life, by your spirituality, by your sense of commitment, by everything that defines you, you must be at all the time conscious. You must have that consciousness of being spiritual, of being a light. For example, a few weeks back, something happened around my area. I saw a boy who was trying to unplug a plasma television. When we accosted him, he has been taken to drugs. Something just ministered to me that I should, at this age, I have served myself for over 38, 40 years. Why not serve God? Why not serve humanity? As a drama person, I believe maybe it is the Spirit of God ministering to me. I felt the urge to go to secondary schools, get somebody, a counselor, to minister to these kids, because at the end of the day, I discovered that the parents, the children, and even at the end of it, the act is demonic. Drug abuse, Yahoo, and others. I feel a sense of fulfillment that if at this stage, I have reached this stage in my life, and I thank God of a short fast because of that, that despite the fact that I've been kept this long, what do I have to offer humanity? I think it's just like Christ died for us, out of love, sacrificing, we should be able to emulate that and do something, especially for this youth. Especially for this youth. Because the youth is the strength of a nation, is the strength of a church. And if you do not manage, pray for them, rehabilitate, restore, refurbish, enhance, impact into their lives, you discover that whatever they must have committed may bounce back to you. Because of the future generations, we must go out of our way. In my ministration, I've decided within me that I'm going to do drama, I'm going to do films that will talk about God, that will impact in the lives of people, that will tell the youth how best to get the best from God and the best from themselves through drama.
Thank you very much. I want to call you one of the mothers of the church, and rightfully so. You, man. Auntie Deborah. Therefore, this is my question. You know, okay, this is not me being cocky. Dr. Hamilton was saying that you cannot be more celestial than a Deborah. I said in the corner that I can't, no. I can. That is arguable. So based on that, my question is, so far, what is your impact or input into the lives of youth of Celestia, especially?
I, as a person, 4 years ago, I found a need to move closer to CCC youths. And what I started with, I noticed we have issues of improper dressing in the church, especially amongst our women. So what I did, I took myself as an example. For over 3 years, I don't make up in my sutana. And it has even affected me when I'm even off my sutana. Because I want to be able to talk to the youth. And I want to be able to use myself as an example. And that's what I've been able to do for over 3 years, going to 4 years. I've been able to stand bold in front of youth and tell them that the few minutes you spend in presence of God, you don't need your makeup. What God needs is our spirit. But sometimes our overzealousness in the church right now, especially our women in aspects of makeup, is distracting men in the church. We have to accept that. Our women, sometimes they are indiscriminately dressed. And I went to a parish. I worshipped in their Sunday school, and I saw the youth of the Sunday school. They were heavily made up. I couldn't curtail it. I called the Sunday school. I said, Oga, come, I want to see. He said, madam, what? I said, why are your youths this made up? He said, go downstairs and see their parents. Go and see their mothers. So I went downstairs at the end of the service after fellowshipping with the youth, and I couldn't talk. I saw mothers were totally made up. Their caps were stained. And I just looked. I said, no, we can't give up on this church. And I'm saying it now. I, Deborah Oshofa, have taken it upon myself that the little impact I can create among celestial youths, I will use myself as do as I do, don't do as I say. I pray one day we'll be able to have gatherings of celestial youths and we'll be makeup free. And we'll be able to be simple in the presence of our God. Then one other thing I do, if you follow me on my Facebook page, I'm Arewa Deborah Oshofa Ogumbi on Facebook. I don't say anything negative about the church on my page. If you come to my page and you see anything against Celestia, I'll disconnect from you immediately. I'll delete you from my friends list. I want us to use our Facebook pages, our Instagram pages, to do positive things about the church. Every church has issues. It's not peculiar to Celestia. But they don't bring up their issues the way we do in Celestia. And that is why I've put up myself that I'm going to stand for a positive Celestia. We cannot all give up on Celestia. Our fathers had a dream about Celestia. The dreams will not stop during our time. We're going to hand it over to some youth. So whatever we do today, everyone seated here, I want you to take a message that the change starts with you. It starts with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you have brought me to a very, I try to run from, because of time, I'm trying to run away from certain things. But then you have choir, you music, you Mr. Music. Brashala, I have an issue. I have seen our children, our youth, our mothers, when they are unwatched or seemingly so, uncaptured. I've seen them at events, and I've seen our children dance. And I think, maybe it's the old school in me speaking, but anything that my spirit repels, then it has to be, there's something not right about it. What is the difference between the dance, our youth dance in church, and when they dance in the clubs? I want to know. Please explain.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Thank you very much for this lovely question. And first of all, they said music is an act of expression. And theoretically, they said a combination of sounds that is pleasant to the ear. Now, I made mention of something there at the backstage. I said culture. The reason why we have this kind of, music that is going on in Celestial Church of Christ right now, not only Celestial Church of Christ, it's also in other denominations, because they said something, innovation or rebranding. To me, rebranding is like a worldly thing in a context, because when you say rebranding, you are bringing out maybe something that is trendy for you to be able to be ahead, work back with everybody. And don't forget that anything trendy is worldly, and anything that is worldly invites sin. Now, we want to develop our music, but in a way that is not peculiar with spirituality. Celestial Church of Christ has a beautiful culture. We are so rich in culture. God has laid down everything to suit us in a way that you can even, develop it. One mole, that is what they said. Not to yokuro. Mole. And what you want to mole must be, beautiful. Now, I usually, so many times I say this thing, I say ethnomusicology, is a study of culture. Like we have our own culture from the 60s, 70s, I still have the experience, 70s, 80s, when our music is so spiritual. Although we deal with 145 chords, then in the lights of Ewa Sejusu, Ewa Fiyifu, Ewa Kajokwe, Kajoyimba, and so on and so forth. But going deep into that music, the spiritual aspect of the thing is the most important to them then, because they worship in fear. It's different from today, that I have to play a music and the audience must get along with me. If there is any dull moment, the Olusoagutan even called you and said, ẹ̀wà ẹ̀jẹ̀ kó hot. You don't understand? It's because they want to be trendy. They need more people in their church. And it's far, 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 far away from that. If music, if King David can cure the madness of King Saul, that means music is more spiritual than the physical. Am I making sense? I talk too much. So, because I'm trying to, Magia or something, because we have so many places to go. Now, they said something, if our children are in this kind of context of, okay, mo fẹ́ jó song, mo fẹ́ jó, kí ló ti ń pè ó kí ni ẹ, better, all those kind of stuff, because the kind of reading is being played in the church, even in our Ikore. Let us be realistic with ourselves. So many times I engage so many youths on this. This is the time of change. This is the time for us to prove to the world that Celestial Church of Christ is unique, is endowed with so many beautiful things, especially music. In the 60s and 70s, we control music entertainment now. Almost all our instrumentalists plays with the top musicians, even right now. Even in the Pentecostals, go to any Pentecostals, the biggest one, you find Celestians. In fact, 50% of their instrumentalists or singers are there. They will finish the service there by that 12, because they went there for, because Pentecostal pay,
Okay, I need to, no, we need to, I'm coming to that one, because really, okay, maybe I should ask you this. Yes, hold on please. Maybe I should ask you this. Why is it, Prof said it earlier on, why is it happens in my parish? Our instrumentalists, it happened until lately when we addressed it and we said, you know what, we know the problem, salary, let's pay, and we've had peace. Why is I'm an artist, why is it that we tend to use Abella for Jehovah Jesus Christ? The instrumentalist, that is what he eats, that's his livelihood. Why aren't we appreciating them? Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that brilliant question. The truth, I must tell you, is that we need a complete reorientation in the Celestial Church of Christ concerning these issues. The instrumentalist you are talking about has responsibilities to take care of, like you and I. Has bills to pay, like you and I. He lives on that gift, on that talent. He's probably a professional musician. And then we expect him to render service to the church without compensation. Naturally, as human beings, you can't get the best out of such a person. On the day you need his services, if he has an engagement that will pay him money, of course he will go for that, because he needs the money to take care of his responsibilities and survival. We need a complete reorientation in the Celestial Church of Christ. And I want to believe that it's already ongoing, because we have lost a lot of our good hands in these areas to other churches.
Would it then not be said that the problem is not entirely the church as the church, but the parishioners? Because Celestians don't know how to give. Celestians don't know how to give.
The church has an administration, In my church, for instance, we have a parochial committee. The parochial committee is responsible for the day-to-day administration of the church, while the shepherd takes care of the spiritual side of things. In my church, for instance, we took a decision that our instrumentalists have to be paid because we want the best. We recognize the fact that the choir is a very important part of whatever we're doing. And if we do not compensate these people, we have had cases where we had very important services to hold and they just did not show up. I can't play the guitar, I can't play the piano, and we were just there managing until the whole thing ended. So we took that decision that, look, what is the problem with these people? If they need to be compensated, we will compensate them in line with what we can afford. And we engaged them, we spoke with them, and we arrived at a decision. And that is what we've been doing, and things have been going smoothly. And I think the entire church should borrow from this. You cannot expect people to render service and not compensate them. The celestial thing I grew up to meet in the church is like the prof said earlier on, Ishe Oluwani. And they tell you God will beat you at the point of your needs and God will compensate you. Fine, God will compensate you, but we also must assist God to deliver that compensation sometimes. I mean, that's my own position to this.
But I'm not going to stretch it much longer, but I need to make this very clear. I have seen it, and that's why I'm saying it. Celestians, we do not give to the church. We don't know how to. The church that is in Alagbole or Alagbado, when they are receiving offerings, you look in the tray, you have 20 naira, 10 naira, 5 naira. Is it that amount that they're going to pay that instrumentalist with, pay NEPA bill? The shepherd will take care of the spiritual, take care of human beings, take care of even those people around in the church for our bro, who do not have money to eat. Celestials will come and boldly, they want the best, but they don't want to pay for it. No, it has to stop. But I think that is the crux of the problem. The church is not central bank. The church does not have a machine that makes money. It is people. The church has blessed a lot of us. Let us even sow. Why are we not teaching consistently? Break it into our brains if we must. That ritual of seed sowing, which is where other churches have taken the baton from us.
That's where the reorientation comes in. We need proper oral reorientation. We need more people to do the kind of thing that Dr. Hamilton is doing here, for instance. Teaching people the fundamentals. You see, it's a huge problem, and unless we begin to shift away from that fundamental problem of, yes, we need the word, we need to use our pulpit to deliver these messages. Right now, a lot of pulpits are not doing what they should do in the Celestial Church of Christ. We have a lot of storytellers who just come on the pulpit and tell stories. We need to be more rooted in the word. We need to let our people understand the importance of these things. I said to some people the other day that in the Celestial Church of Christ, we are supposed to be amongst the richest Christians. But we are the way we are because we do not tap into these things. We do not give. We do not understand that this is a very important part of our Christianity. So we need a total reorientation. As I sat there earlier on listening to Dr. Hamilton, I was very happy, very impressed, because he was driving home the points that I think should be driven home in a lot of places. If we continue, if we have many people doing what he is doing, there will be a change, there will be a shift, and then we would have addressed the root of the problem. Yes, we need to give more, but even then, with the little we give, we need to also begin to address these issues, because in most places they don't address these issues at all, and they will tell you we don't have much, so you shake hands with your instrumentalists and they go away, or you pray for them and they go. But even with the little we have, we can still do something while we address the root problem.
I have a totally different opinion to what my father and my brother have been saying. When you begin to pay instrumentalist and celestial, we need to be very careful. Tomorrow we have to pay the onibodies. Tomorrow we have to pay the prophets. What I think is best, get good jobs for them. Get them self-employed. Get them employed. Get them empowered. We will not accept that they should be paid in the church, but the church should get them self-employed. Only bodies are rendering services. We have youths that have been here since morning offering services. Are we going to pay them to someday? Let's be careful of what we do in the church, because whatever decision we take now, Auntie said something that some churches can't afford it. So churches that can't afford to pay instrumentalists can't have services. No, please, let's get them empowered. Let's get them self-employed. I think it's a better one.
So, Tina, please, can I add just one
Yes,
word?
please.
I want to add something on that perspective. You see, when we approach this matter from the point of carnality, that is when we believe that we need to pay them. Let me tell you, when you're preaching, when the service has anointing, and I'm talking about real anointing, when prophets prophesy with anointing and they see the impact, when preaching comes with anointing and your spirit is moved, when you are really born again and your spirit is born anew, you will know that you have to sacrifice for God. Because let me tell you, there is only one thing that is there in Ecclesiastes towards the end, that his own God wants you to serve him and nothing more. He's not interested in your comfort. He's interested in your character. So whatever brings you to him is what he wants from you. So tribulations, suffering, you come to God, you worship him with your talents, and you will receive. I have practiced that in all my 38 years in the Celestial Fold, and I'm telling you, I was drawn forcefully to do all these things and to reap. Even this drama that you are talking about, I have directed plays in churches and I've gotten jobs that it looked as if it was not going to be possible. If you remember Kuromi, I was a student then and I was a worker at Ife. But they said that those of us who are schooling, that we cannot participate. NIB used to come and give us money. Okay. Before that time, I went to Mudaike Parish 1. I directed that drama. They gave me money, I refused. I said they should take the money. They gave me 12 pieces of meat from the amalu that they killed. Well, I took that and I went to borrow money to cook. Do you know that that particular play that they said that those of us who had exam could not do? Timi Sofa was a friend. She was supposed to play Losadiwi. Suddenly, Timi Sofa just dropped the script and left for Lagos, that she was no more interested in playing. I played that part. I was brought in. And my glory shown, it was even from that one that a director that Tina knows got me to go to Germany twice for a production. From that, I was paid, my salary was 700 naira. I was paid 25,000 naira. Even my son that was 2 years then was paid 7,000. The boy now is now 25 years old. Several times I have sacrificed. I have worked for God. Obey God, do his commandment. That is the whole duty of man.
Okay. I haven't said that. Hold on, Rasola. Having said that, I really must say this. This is a perception, right? Now I need to tell you something. This is my perception. As much as I agree with her, I agree with him. And I'm going to, this is my deduction. These other churches, they bring your instrumentalists and pay them. They don't tell you. They pay them. No, that's not the question. They drag your youth, your musicians, your gifted ones from Celestial Church, and they go back and they pay them and treat them like kings. And you are saying they shouldn't be paid? They will stay there. You will lose souls. And God will ask you. Until your faith carries that responsibility, don't force it. Ìgbàgbọ́ wo tí gbé bùkátà lọ sí gbọ́ lọ́wọ́. They don't, you say empower them. Will the wind empower them? You say no, you and I that will empower them. How many people have you empowered or have I empowered? No, how many have I empowered? Say instrumentalist, so I empower you. How many have I seen and empowered? Until we begin to nip this thing in the bud and tell ourselves bare-faced truth, we will not get it right. You see, you want to serve God, Abi? Serve him. That's your duty. Serve him. Pays you, pays me. But the man who wants to feed his family, you tell him to come and drum and he's thinking about baby food. Emi will over sokale.
Tosin, you can talk.
So I wouldn't want us to flog this one too much because we won't live here. If we have to go, because
we can flog it.
No, because we really don't have time.
Okay, we don't have time.
Don't worry, you know.
So I just want to tweak it a bit. I just want to tweak it a bit. I have a question for our father. And like I said, the reason why I said I don't want us to push this because I used to be an instrumentalist as well. And I still play for my church. And I tell you, I can't remember the last time I was paid to play in a church. I think I have some of my members here. I have gone to several states to play. So it's all about perception, like she said. It is what you believe in. I can't go to anywhere in the world and be paid to play in church. At least I play over 12 instruments as I speak. So it is perception. So let's maybe we should draw the curtain with that. So to my question to our father, I know time is running, but I just want, I think it is a bit tweeted to the media. And I want to ask if the MPIC, because I'm also involved in the church, at least for the past 4 years. I was part of the committee for Imeko. And I understand that we have about 79 members in the MPIC list. 84. Okay. So, there's this abuse of use of social media. And I'm taking on Instagram. I don't know if there is a plan to have like a control, because recently I saw something like Celestia Olufofo on Instagram, and I'm wondering, where is this coming from? Tomorrow morning somebody just wakes up, open Celestia Parrot, you know? So I don't know if, although we have a lot of celestial media houses doing wonders, the church in a good light, which is well appreciated. So I don't know if the MPIC is doing anything regarding that. That's if they have plans. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, of course, there are plans to engage all these platforms. As at the last count, at least from the count that I did, we have close to 100 different platforms. Almost Selenime, Celestial this, Celestial that, Celestial tomorrow, Celestial heritage, we have close to 100, not to talk of the Twitter handles. And they're all just out there throwing out information, no censorship, no regulation, no harmonization. Well, the situation is there and it has to be properly managed. The pastor in council, like I said, has 13 working committees. These committees have different functions. You have the committee on evangelism, you have the committee on legal matters, you have the committee on celebrations and anniversary, you have the committee on the press. Now this falls under the committee on the press. And one of the things we have decided to do, even though we still have a challenge as regards that committee, because it's a very specialized committee, and we need to have the right people as members. As I speak with you, I can reveal to you that I'm the only member of that committee right now. Yes, we're still sourcing for competent people to join me, and we don't want to make mistakes. Otherwise, we could have picked a few people and appointed them to work with me on that committee. But I said to the authorities that, look, we just have to get it right from the people who will be selected. So, but one of the things I intend to put before the committee when it is finally properly constituted is that we need to engage all these platforms. We need to look at what is happening to the Celestial Church on the social media. The social media has made journalists of every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Anybody who can punch the keyboard of the phone is a journalist now. It's an all-comers affair. So if we do not manage it properly, we will end up we already have a crisis in that area, which we need to manage. Our plan is to bring all these social media platforms that have to do with the church. We want to invite them and engage them. And then we're going to try to streamline what they are doing. Perhaps we will have an overall platform which will disseminate information to all of them. And once we agree, it is only what we push to them that they will, that is in the pipeline. And I'm hopeful that before March, we would have made a headway with that. Beyond that, the responsibility is also falls on you and I. All of us who have Facebook pages and all that, we need to watch what we push out there concerning the church. Other churches have challenges and problems too, but I don't get to read about them as much as I read about the Celestial Church on the social media. Our people are always running out there to throw information. Once someone is disgruntled about something concerning the church, goes on the social media and begins to attack the church. You cannot continue destroying when you want to build. So we also have a responsibility as members of the church to watch what we throw out there.
At this juncture, we'll have to say thank you very much for listening to us. We hope that we touched some of the issues that you have been dying to resolve. Thank you very much, our mothers and our fathers and our fathers and our fathers and our fathers, for being my guests on the talk show. Thank you very much. See you next year.
Celestial Television Network.